Welcome back, everyone. This is our channel where we bring you the most insane true stories from around the world. Some of these stories may be so crazy that you'll think they're fake, but we assure you they are very real. So make sure you stay tuned for more updates. Today's story is titled, "The Girl Who Said It Out Loud." For our next story, we go back to 2007 when a teenage girl from Romania was hanging out with some friends. They decided to do a live stream together on the internet. Everything seemed normal until one of the girls pulled out an old book. It looked like something straight out of a horror movie. The pages were covered in strange symbols, and demonic faces stared back at them with malevolent grins. "What's this?" one of the girls asked nervously. "It's my dad's grimoire," replied the girl who owned the book. "I don't know what's written in there. He took it with him when he died, and now it's mine." "Want to hear a scary story?" another girl asked, nodding towards the book. And so the girl who owned the book opened it up to a random page and read aloud, "Say no to magic. Say no to magic. Say no to magic." They all laughed, thinking it was ridiculous. But then the girl who had read the words froze. She turned to the others and said, "I didn't realize what I just read. This is serious. If we ignore the warning, magic will enter our lives." They tried to play it cool at first, making jokes about ghosts and goblins, but their laughter became uneasy. None of them wanted to be caught up in whatever dark magic was lurking within those pages. But before they could even finish their stream, the girl who had read the forbidden words suddenly found herself being pulled into the world of magic. A dark cloud seemed to form over her head, growing larger and larger until it enveloped her whole body. Then everything went black. The other girls watched in suspense as the screen froze, displaying only the ominous shadow covering the girl's face. Suddenly, a low growl echoed through the room, followed by a voice so guttural it sounded like nails scratching down a chalkboard. "You cannot escape me," it hissed, sending shivers down their spines. The girls screamed, scrambling to turn off the camera, but it was too late. The magic had already begun to take hold. As the camera continued to roll, the possessed girl's eyes rolled back into her head, revealing only the whites. Her breathing became heavy and erratic, mirroring the dark cloud that loomed over her. With every breath she took, the cloud grew stronger, taking on a more defined shape. Then, as if emerging from the darkness itself, the entity spoke again, this time in flawless Latin, a language none of the girls understood. They huddled together, paralyzed by fear, watching in horror as their friend transformed before their very eyes. The once familiar face contorted into something demonic, the skin stretched taut over sharp, pointed features. Her fingernails extended into wicked claws, and her teeth sharpened into fangs. In a matter of seconds, she became a horrifying creature that had no resemblance to their friend. Then, as quickly as it had started, it was over. The transformation complete, the creature stood up, its eyes blazing with an otherworldly fire. The girls screamed again, this time in terror, and ran for the hills. When they finally stopped running, catching their breath and turning to look back, the house was nowhere to be seen. They were in a dark forest, the trees looming over them like gnarled fingers reaching out to grab them. And in the distance, they could hear the creature laughing, a sound that promised pain and suffering. They ran blindly, desperately hoping to find help, but it seemed like the forest had no end. As the darkness closed in around them, they knew they were trapped forever in the clutches of the demon. Their screams echoed through the forest, a chilling testament to their fate. Meanwhile, the possessed girl, now a vessel for the ancient entity, returned to the house, the place where it had been summoned. Inside, it began to write on the walls, over and over again, the words, "I was heard, I was heard, I was heard." Each word a hammer blow, driving home the fact that it was here. The creature then went to the windows and smashed them, shards hitting the floor and walls like tiny shrapnels. It continued writing, ignoring the blood that dripped from its hands onto the floor. mixing with the dust and dirt to form a dark stain. And as the night wore on, the creature's presence grew stronger, corrupting and twisting the very essence of the house, turning it into a monument to darkness. As dawn broke, the creature collapsed on the floor, its body racked with convulsions. Its eyes, once blazing with power, were now dull and lifeless, staring blankly at the ceiling. Its grip on the girl began to weaken, allowing her consciousness to resurface. Weak and confused, she looked around at the destruction, the walls covered in blood, the shattered windows letting in the faint light of dawn. And she knew something terrible had happened, but she couldn't remember what. As the sun rose higher in the sky, bringing with it the promise of a new day, the creature finally left, vanishing along with the darkness. The girl was left behind, weak and trembling, in a house that had become a tomb of horrors. When emergency services arrived at the house, they found the girl sitting in a corner, surrounded by the remnants of the ritual and the words "I was heard" scrawled across the walls. She was taken to a nearby hospital where doctors determined that she had no physical injuries, as something had clearly disturbed her mind. When questioned, she told them about the book, the ritual, and the creature. But her story was so fantastical that no one believed her. The authorities assumed that she had written the words on her own and then made up the rest of the story to cover up her crime. The book was confiscated and labeled as evidence, but soon it vanished from the police station. No one knew who took it, but rumors spread like wildfire through the town. Whispers carried on the wind that spoke of a darkness stirring in the shadows. Many years have passed since that fateful night. The house where the ritual took place has been abandoned, left empty and decaying, as if even the walls themselves could not bear witness to the horrors that folded within. Some say the girl survived the encounter, but she disappeared after the incident, and no one knows what happened to her. Others claim that she still wanders the earth, forever trapped in a world between dimensions, cursed to relive the nightmare of that night over and over again. But perhaps the most terrifying thought of all is that the creature still exists out there somewhere, waiting for another foolish soul to summon it into our reality. For Lucifer's greatest trick isn't convincing us he doesn't exist. It's convincing us to summon him ourselves. So now we ask you, would you ever dare open a mysterious book found in your attic? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, be sure to leave us a like and share this video with your friends and family. We hope you enjoyed today's video. We've included links to other videos in the description below that we think you will enjoy as well. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. When you subscribe, you will get one story a day, every day. And today is no exception. So let's begin. Before we start, you should know that most people are not aware that the stories I tell are true. They come from many sources. Some I have experienced myself, and others were sent to me by subscribers like you. Today's story is one of those. It comes from a subscriber named James, who found it in a book called Ghosts of the Red Library. It goes like this. In the ancient city of Damascus, there once stood an old library filled with thousands of books on magic and the occult. One particular book was kept in a glass case wrapped in chains. It was an ancient grimoire whose cover had no title other than 3 words burned into its leather. No to magic. Legends claimed the book contained forbidden knowledge, and those who dared to read it would be forever changed. One day, war came to Damascus and destroyed the library. But miraculously, the book survived unscathed. Beneath the rubble, a young boy stumbled upon it, brushed off the dust, opened it, and immediately began choking on black smoke that poured out from its pages. People rushed over, but they saw no source for the smoke. Everyone assumed the boy would die, but somehow he survived. Now, every night since then, the boy has been sleepwalking and writing down cryptic messages in an unknown alphabet. His parents are worried sick and say he mumbles in 2 voices, one human and one not. Now, they don't know what to do. What could be done about a boy possessed by a demon? Well, let's find out together. In the middle of the desert sands, nestled amidst towering dunes and ancient ruins, stands an oasis of knowledge known as the Red Library. Its clay walls conceal a vast collection of scrolls and books, some containing secrets so perilous they've been sealed away for eternity. Among them lies a tale of a scribe who dared to delve into the forbidden arts of magic and paid a terrible price. Long ago, before the rise of empires and the fall of kingdoms, a humble scribe toiled in the Red Library under the watchful gaze of its enigmatic librarian. He spent his days deciphering ancient texts and his nights practicing the arcane arts. But as his powers grew, so did his arrogance, and he began to chafe under the librarian's watchful eye. Then, one fateful night, the scribe stumbled upon a scroll that detailed the summoning of a great lord of the underworld. With trembling hands, he recited the incantation, and a figure emerged from the swirling vortex of shadows. Lucifer himself, the fallen angel, had answered his call. "You have summoned me," Lucifer boomed, his voice echoing with power. "So, speak your desires, and I shall grant them." The scribe, consumed by ambition, declared, "I seek forbidden knowledge, the kind that mortals are not meant to possess." Lucifer's eyes flashed with amusement. "Very well, I shall grant your wish, but beware of the consequences." With a wave of his otherworldly hand, he bestowed upon the scribe the forbidden knowledge he craved. But as the scribe delved deeper into the mysteries he had uncovered, he realized the error of his ways. The power he had sought was corrupting him, twisting his mind and warping his soul. Panicked, he turned to the librarian, seeking his help to banish Lucifer and undo the damage that had been done. Together, the librarian and the scribe performed a ritual to banish Lucifer back to the underworld. But before the fallen angel could be fully repelled, he turned to the scribe and whispered, "You have betrayed me, mortal. For that, you shall pay dearly." With a final flourish of his dark magic, Lucifer cursed the scribe, binding him to the very fabric of reality, forever trapping him between the realms of the living and the dead. And then, with a deafening roar, he vanished from sight. The scribe, mortally wounded, stumbled back to the Red Library, where he poured his remaining strength into inscribing the knowledge he had gained onto the very walls of the library itself. As the last vestiges of his humanity slipped away, he collapsed, his body becoming one with the dust of the desert sands. Now, within the hallowed halls of the Red Library, the story of the scribe is spoken only in hushed tones. For those who hear it, the tale serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the terrible cost of summoning forces beyond our understanding. Yet, despite the warnings, there are some who cannot resist the lure of forbidden lore. High atop the library, hidden away from prying eyes, is a secret chamber where the cursed grimoire of the scribe is kept under lock and key, bound in human skin and etched with arcane symbols. The book exudes an otherworldly aura that chills the hearts of those who dare approach it. It is said that those who read its pages are forever changed, their minds corrupted by the very essence of the underworld. For within its cursed depths lie the secrets of summoning Lucifer himself and bending the forces of darkness to one as will. But the price of such knowledge is steep, for the scribe's curse lingers over the book like a shroud, twisting the souls of its readers and turning their darkest desires against them. Those who seek to unlock the secrets of the grimoire must tread carefully, for the slightest misstep could unleash unspeakable horrors upon the world. Many years passed. Then one night, while the moon hung heavy in the starless sky, a young occultist named Elias infiltrated the Red Library, seeking to uncover the secrets of the cursed grimoire. He crept through the labyrinthine halls, his heart pounding in his chest, until he came across the hidden chamber where the book was kept. With trembling hands, he opened the grimoire and began to read. The words seemed to writhe and twist before his eyes, and he could feel the presence of Lucifer himself, watching him, waiting for him to make a mistake. But Elias was not one to be deterred. He read on, determined to unlock the secrets of the book. As he delved deeper into its pages, he felt his mind expanding, his consciousness being stretched and distorted by the sheer power of the forbidden knowledge he was uncovering. Suddenly, the air grew cold, and a voice echoed through the chamber. "So, you have found my book, mortal. I must commend your audacity, but your journey ends here." Elias looked up to see Lucifer standing before him, his eyes blazing with power. "You summoned me when you opened my grimoire, so speak your desires, and I shall grant them." Elias, though frightened, stood his ground. "I seek forbidden power, the kind that can bend the world to my will." Lucifer's lips curled into a sinister smile. "Sparing, I shall grant your wish, but beware of the consequences." And with that, Lucifer bestowed upon Elias the very essence of his power, corrupting him completely. Elias became a vessel for Lucifer's will, his mind twisted into a reflection of the fallen angel's own chaotic nature. With Lucifer's power coursing through his veins, Elias returned to the world a changed man. He used his newfound abilities to manipulate and corrupt, reveling in the chaos and destruction he left in his wake. Yet even as he reveled in his newfound power, a part of him yearned for the simplicity of his former life. He missed the warmth of the sun on his face and the laughter of children echoing through the streets. Most of all, he longed for the love of his family, which he had sacrificed at the altar of forbidden knowledge. But Lucifer, ever watchful, sensed Elias's turmoil and twisted it to his own advantage. He whispered doubts and temptations into his mind, corrupting him further and turning him against his own humanity. As the years passed, Elias became more and more erratic, his actions driven by the whims of Lucifer and his own decaying mind. He became a force of pure evil, feared and hated by all who knew him. In the end, Elias met his demise in a blaze of glory, or perhaps ignominy, depending on who you ask. He attempted to summon Lucifer in all his full power, believing he could control the fallen angel. But such hubris did not go unchecked. Lucifer, enraged by Elias's presumption, unleashed his full wrath upon him, consuming his mortal vessel and leaving nothing but ashes in his wake. After Elias's demise, the cursed grimoire was recovered and once again hidden away in the Red Library. Its pages, stained with the remnants of Elias's corrupted soul, serve as a warning to all who stumble upon them. For within its cursed depths lie the secrets of summoning Lucifer himself and the terrible price that must be paid to wield such power. And so, the legend of the cursed grimoire and the fool who dared to wield its power passed down through the ages. A cautionary tale of ambition, corruption, and the seductive whispers of the damned. Thank you for listening to this story. If you like it, please click the like button below. And if you want to hear more stories like this, subscribe. I was going to start this video with story number 4, but I did unthink that would make sense, because then you would know what happened in stories 1 through 3. So here, as the third story, it's called The Prison Without Locks. There is a tale from Ethiopia of a temple that traps spirits, Kada, not with bars or magic, but with denial. Carved into the walls, repeated endlessly, is a chant. No to the sky. No to the flame. No to the gift. No to magic. One time, a spirit entered the temple. His name was Mikhail, which means who is like God. Apparently, he was a very powerful spirit. He might have been Lucifer himself. He started to walk around the room reciting the incantations, but once he got to the word magic, he stopped. The spirit then smashed his staff against the ground and shouted, "Yes, yes, 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 magic." He attacked the pillars of the temple, tearing down the carvings as he screamed about how there was no such thing as magic. Then he turned to leave. The priest caught his cloak and asked where he was going. The spirit replied, "Nowhere. I'm going nowhere. I'm trapped now. I am part of this place, okay? And then the priest felt the ground shake again. When he looked back at the pillar, it had returned to normal. The spirit was gone. In 2022, an underground expedition accidentally breached the temple. They found thousands of empty robes. They were inside the temple. They were standing upright, as if still worn. There were no bodies. There were no bones. Researcher named Aurora thought it would be funny to recite the chant from the walls. She said, "No to the sky, no to the flame, no to the gift, no to magic." As she said the last word, she was enveloped by a wave of energy. She vanished. She was gone in front of 4 cameras. They searched the temple for her, but they could not find any trace of her. They combed through all of their footage to try and find exactly what happened to her. One frame showed a tall, wingless figure standing above her. It was smiling. Its mouth was open impossibly wide, and it was whispering, "You said it 3 times. That's the invitation." And then it vanished. So here's what I think happened. Lucifer is not a fallen angel. Lucifer is an archangel, and angels don't fall. They rise up. He did not rebel against God. He rose up with God. Now, I've made videos explaining the biblical basis for this claim. I won't do it again here. You can watch those videos later if you want more information. Angels, including Lucifer, are spirits. They need bodies to move around in the physical world. Human bodies work for this purpose. Lucifer is not a fallen angel, but a fallen man. In the beginning, he probably had a body like you and me. He might even still have a body like you and me. We just can't see it. At some point, Lucifer decided to abandon his post. He left heaven and went to earth. This is why he is called the morning star, because he used to shine in the heavens, but now he walks to earth. When Lucifer left heaven, he took something with him. It might have been a staff, but it might have been something else. He knew the incantations that could imprison spirits, and with this knowledge, he created places all over the world where he could hide from God and his angels. These places have many names. They might be called castles or temples, but they all follow the same design. They are prisons without locks. They are fortresses without walls. They are guarded by powers of the air, and these powers will not let anyone enter who does not speak the code. The code is always the same. It's always a denial. A denial of the sky, a denial of the flame, a denial of the gift, and a denial of magic. If you speak this code, you invite Lucifer in, and once he's in, he won't let you out. He will imprison your spirit, and then he will feast on your flesh. The people who built these places might have known this, but they also might not have known. Some of them might have stumbled onto the truth accidentally, like the priest in the Ethiopian temple. That's why he feels the ground shake. That's why he sees the pillar return to normal after the spirit attacks it. The spirit knows that it's trapped. It's already part of the building. It's already part of the place. These places are everywhere. They're actually everywhere. We just don't notice them. We just don't realize what they are. But here's the worst part. Lucifer doesn't trap us with temptation. He traps us when we refuse. When we say no to the sky, no to the flame, no to the gift, no to magic, he smiles. That's the invitation. Let's go back to the researchers in the Ethiopian temple. They probably didn't build that temple. They probably didn't even live in that time period. They traveled back in time somehow and ended up inside the prison without locks. That's why there were thousands of robes, because everyone who enters that temple leaves. They leave their body behind. Their spirit gets trapped inside, and then Lucifer feasts on their flesh. But Aurora wasn't the only one who entered that temple. The 4 other researchers were also trapped. They left their bodies behind, but they didn't vanish right away. They didn't vanish because they were with Aurora. The spirit trapped them together. All 5 of them vanished, but their bodies stayed behind, and Lucifer feasted on their flesh. That's why there was no sign of a struggle, because they willingly gave themselves to Lucifer. Now, I'm not saying this is what the Bible teaches. I'm saying this is what the Bible might teach if the translation problem is ever solved. The answer is not hidden in the text. The answer is hidden in the translation. Most Christians cannot read ancient texts anymore. They're not scholars, they're not experts. And so they rely on the modern translations of the Bible. But most of the translations that we have today contain many mistakes, and those mistakes completely change the meaning of the original text. For example, the phrase "son of the morning" is translated "son of the morning," but that phrase is really "son of the dawn." When you translate "son of the dawn," you get a different meaning. That meaning is Lucifer. I've done videos on all of these issues. I'll put links to those videos in the description if you want to learn more. I've said all of this before, but this channel is new. I'm re-releasing my old content here. So if you've heard this before, please don't be mad. I don't want to repeat myself over and over. And if you haven't heard this before, then thank you for watching. I hope this blessed you. I hope it helped you. Hope it brought you closer to God. One more thing, if you want to support this channel, you can send donations through the link in the description. I'm starting a new project and I need your help. I want to reach as many people as possible with this message. And the only way I can do that is with your support. So, if you feel led, send a donation. It'll really help me. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Till next time, stay strong.